One day at the gym, I saw her using the Stairmaster. Y'all gotta chill for a second. When she goes on the Stairmaster, her workout for that day is a cardio and abs session. Therefore, if I want to interact with her again, I will either have to get on the Stairmaster or hover around the abs section of the gym. And I ain't training abs. I look like a fish out of the water when I try and do those. I realized there have been many times where she got on the machine right next to me. I felt like I should reciprocate those actions and outwardly show that I also feel comfortable joining a machine right next to her. This is like a mild confession. But there was a slight problem, as she was the only one on the Stairmaster machine. And there's 4 other Stairmasters, so if I get on the one right next to her, then it's gonna look so weird. So I got on the one right next to her. And as I was stepping up the machine, I got super nervous. I didn't realize how close we would be. Without headphones in, we could definitely hear each other's breath. In the past, we've been close, but not this close. I'm practically a foot to her left, red-faced, mouth breathing like a hog. It's like I started a new game file and went straight to the final boss room. She was watching something on her phone, so I put my earbuds in, for 2 reasons. It would look kind of awkward if I got on the machine right next to her and didn't have headphones in. It's so obvious that I wanted to talk to her. And 2, if you do cardio without headphones, then you're a crazy pants. At this point, I realized that I breathe really loudly when I'm on the Stairmaster. This thing's harder than the treadmill. It almost feels like you're climbing up a flight of stairs. I was really curious what she was watching on her phone, because I want to know what kind of shows she likes, her favorite food. This was the first time I've seen her engaged in her hobbies. Time went by, and it'd probably be weird to say anything now. I ain't gonna lie, when we were doing the walking animation that close to each other, I was imagining we were like going for a walk along the beach. As mentioned before, when she starts with the Stairmaster, that means she ends off the gym session with an ab workout. Well, I figured it'd be weird to follow her again, so using this battle knowledge, I got off the Stairmaster and set up shop at a squat rack to work out my shoulders. I don't think anyone in the existence of ever has done the Stairmaster straight into a shoulder workout. Psh, that's just my workout split though. Oh, you're doing abs in this area? What a coincidence seeing you here again. I'm just working out my shoulders. Guys, I don't even like doing standing overhead presses. It's cool, but it hurts your back if you try and do any considerable weight. But it's cool, and that's exactly why I'm here. My goal is to do the heaviest weight I can do for 1 rep, because I want her to imagine that if we're somehow married with kids and our house is burning down, I'm prepared to push up against the falling roof over my head so that her and our kids can evacuate. Everything was going good and I was warming up pretty well. She's doing her ab workout like 10 feet away from me, and she takes off her hair clip. I had randomly activated my Sharingan before this, so my optical sensors got even more overloaded. I felt like Mike Guy opening up the 8th gate, and I'd achieved the Forbidden Pre, also known as the Gym Crush buff. Taking off the hair clip had revealed her long, luscious L'Oreal commercial looking hair. I slapped on 135 pounds on the barbell and started repping that thing out. Look how many ceilings I can carry. That was pretty sick. I didn't know I could lift that much. Hopefully she saw that, because although she gave me a strength buff, she didn't give me a charisma buff. Well, she eventually left, and the stat buff wore off. On another day, I was chilling at the same machine from episode 1. The past couple times, she hadn't worked out her back, so by process of elimination, there was a good chance she could be training her back today as well. She sits right across from me, and I immediately lock in. Today's battle is incredibly different because now we're facing each other and can practically share glances with each other. As I thought I was locked in, I started geeking because I'm trying so hard to suppress my smile. I was getting dopamine overload. As I'm rowing the cable, the weight stack is going up, and I'm trying to block my vision towards her because I have the goofiest smile right now. When I'm done with my set and taking a break, there are many times where we're just looking forward but awkwardly away from each other's eyes. Okay, let me try and look at her eyes to get her attention. Come on, take the bait. Maybe I can start a conversation like, "Can I use that after?" Please, look back. Okay, now I just look like a stalker. Okay. Here's my idea for a conversation starter. I can ask her when she'll be done with the lat pull down and see if she wants to exchange spots. That would reset the timer, so we spend more time like this, and it also makes sense as we're both working out our back. I stood up and took off my grip attachment from my machine, and in the corner of my eye, I saw that the other lat pull down machine was open. Now, my plan has gone down the drain, because why would I ask her when she's done with the lat pull down machine when there's one right there? Cause you like her, huh? I had to now reroute my destination in a span of 0.5 seconds, and I embarrassingly walked over to the other lat pull down machine, and she had left the machine when I sat down. Great, so if I waited like 3 more seconds, maybe I could have waved over and asked if she was done or close to being done, and then we could switch spots from there. She walked away and went on another back machine, but this wasn't over, cause I could always retry my battle plan. I quickly finished 3 more sets with like a 10-second rest in between and walked over to her machine. This is it. Round 2. I walked in front of her, and timidly waved at her. How many more sets do you have? Wait, that was so much easier than last time. Man, whoever said practice makes perfect wasn't kidding. I have 2 more. She gave me that same smile. And she held up a peace sign, probably because she wants me to be at peace or something. Okay, well, it's not 1 more set, it's 2. Do I walk away or just stand here awkwardly? I don't want to rush her. Well, I just stood there, awkwardly, going on my phone to check the weather app and doing an NPC idle animation for about 2 minutes. When she was done with the machine, she started taking off the weights, and I couldn't help but break into a shy smile. I started waving towards her, and she eventually saw my gesture, and I was like, it's okay, leave it on there. I was straight up geeking, eyes creased, smile wide enough to fit an entire pizza slice. I noticed that she had a ring on her index finger. Jarvis, what does that mean? It could be for style. Well, it certainly isn't a ring for marriage.
How about that?
I can't just keep asking her, hi, how many more sets do you have? Because that's not what I'm here for. I think every time I've asked her that question, I actually didn't even need the machine. I just wanted to start a conversation. But on another day, I was working out my legs and she had entered the gym. Honestly, I wasn't really expecting her to come to the gym today, but she did. I was hoping she was working out her legs as well so that I could ask to share a leg machine with her. But she went over to the shoulder press machine. Today was her push day and she saw me on a leg machine. So what do I do now? I can't use the hi, how many more sets do you have? Because who the heck trains legs and shoulders the same day? I set up shop to the machine right next to her, and I pretended to work out my shoulder. After 1 set, I walked the 5 feet between us and went up to her. Even though I say I walked the 5 feet between us, every time I'm walking up to her, it feels like I'm approaching the edge of a cliff. May I use this when you're done? I was so close to saying, I'm Kevin, by the way. Nice to meet you. But I retreated the icebreaker as soon as she said, sure. The worst part is that as I'm waiting for her, I didn't know what to do with the cable. I was trying to do this movement from my rotator cuff to show that I'm warming up my shoulder to then use her machine, but in the heat of battle, I forgot how to exercise. I was turned the other way, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm the first person to ever do this. I'm actually an NPC right now. And she sees that I went from the leg machine to shoulders? Yeah, it's obvious. Okay, she's getting up and taking the plates off. When she's done, introduce yourself. She smiles and picks up her water bottle and leaves. Fuck! This is actually impossible. Now, I have to work out my shoulders, and I don't even want to train my shoulders. Okay, but let me try and predict where she's gonna go in a couple more minutes. I'll set up shop at the bicep curl machine, because she might use the assisted dip machine. So now, I'm sitting at this bicep curl machine, and she actually gets on the assisted pull-up / dip machine, the same thing as in episode 2. Okay, so if I put myself in her shoes, if I was creeped out by some guy constantly asking me, how many more sets do you have? I would not get on this machine. Therefore, this battle is still winnable. I can try and talk to her again. As I walked up to her to get her attention, again, it felt like I was approaching a cliff, but I managed to throw out some words. How many more sets do you have again? Why do I keep saying that? I sort of giggle knowing that this is the 4th time I've asked her, and it's kind of a ludicrous thing at this point. I then said, I notice I always ask you that. Yeah, you didn't notice that. And then she giggled. One more. Say it. Say your name. Okay. Fuck. This is it. I'm cooked. I've asked her 2 times in 1 day. She definitely knows something's fishy. If I ask her 1 more time, I'm gonna get 3 stars like it's GTA. Today, I give up. And as I left the gym, I heard a handful of keys jingling behind me. Like a dog snapping his head back because he knows it's walk time, the keys were coming from her. We were both leaving at the same time, but I was around 20 feet in front of her. What am I gonna do? Act like I'm AFK and then close the distance between us? Nah. As I'm out onto the parking lot at this point, I hesitated and turned around. I power walked back and got in her vicinity before she departed on the fork in the road. Have a nice weekend! You too! I was still too shy to get her name again, but I had planted a seed, and that seed would sprout the following week. Hi, I'm Kevin. How was that weekend?